Donald Trump is running the American economy into the ground, and our government is in a crisis of public trust. Congress must do something to end the culture of corruption begun largely by the Republicans in Washington right now. I would welcome any chance for us to consider legislation to end congressional stock trading. But that's not what this bill does. In fact, the Stop Insider Trading Act allows members of Congress to continue to trade a substantial number of individual stocks. I strongly support a ban on federal officers, including members of Congress, the President, Vice President, and judges and justices of the federal judiciary trading individual stocks. When politicians trade stocks, they erode public trust, not just trust in Congress, but in our government writ large. And a collapse in public trust has serious consequences for this nation. This administration talked about draining the swamp. This administration has added a second story on the swamp, has built a parking garage, and I think an 18-hole luxury golf course. I mean, the swamp has become so large, and using now the administration's opportunities to make money has become a daily occurrence. This is the greatest threat, in my mind, to the American democracy. The bill does nothing to crack down on the self-dealing currently in progress at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The President continues to trade securities for his own enrichment, including the recent purchase of up to $1 million in Warner Brothers bonds, all while Warner Brothers is in the middle of merger talks that will need the approval of President Trump's FCC.
We have seen proof that members who sit on the committee responsible for overseeing Big Pharma and who hold large amounts of Big Pharma stock vote differently than everyone else. Unacceptable. And this bill allows those same members to keep all of their Big Pharma stocks and reinvest their dividends to buy more.
I mean, you could say that there's porridge too hot, porridge too cold, but there's no porridge in the bowl based on this bill because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't have any real teeth. There's not a meal to be had here to pick about.
I think it's really important that we have comprehensive reform. As a former securities lawyer, I know personally, firsthand, how important it is that we get this right, and we need to make sure that we are indeed addressing the public's concern. The bill acknowledges a fundamental truth, both bills. Lawmakers are not ordinary investors. Members of Congress routinely receive non-public briefings, influence regulatory outcomes, and shape legislation that can move markets. When elected officials are allowed to trade individual stocks, even legally, it creates the appearance and sometimes the reality of an insider advantage.
Today's markup is not the end of House Democrats' war against corruption in our government, because at the end of today's proceedings, Donald Trump's America will still be as expensive as it was yesterday. At the end of today's proceedings, this administration will still be corrupt as it was yesterday. And at the end of today's proceedings, if this bill in its current unamended form moves on to the full House, to the Senate, or to the White House, members of Congress will still be permitted to own and trade a wide range of individual stocks. That's why after the American people fire Mike Johnson in November, Democrats will do what Republicans have refused to do for years, what they refuse to do today. Democrats will pass legislation to actually ban stock trading by members of Congress, to ban stock trading by the President of the United States, to ban stock trading by members of the United States Supreme Court.